Welcome to Psychic Bent. My name is Carrie.
And I'm Kim. We are two sisters wanting to help other psychics learn and grow in their abilities and to help educate about spirits, angels, and everything psychic.
Welcome back, listeners, as we continue our series on empaths. Today we're going to start with Earth Empath. But before we start on that, at the end of the last episode, I brought up the subject of the female voice that we keep getting on my end of the microphone. Well, I changed locations, and the voice did not follow, so I would say that was our dear ghost at the house, Mrs. L. So we solved that mystery. She did not come with me.
She didn't come with you. Nope, not to the studio.
not to the studio, no. I think she liked it better at the house, but the studio's better.
Yeah, exactly. Less little noises there.
Yes. No one talking over me in the mic.
That's right.
So, Kim, do you want to start us out on Earth Empath?
Sure. We're going to begin with the Earth Empath, and I also want to preface this episode or this series by saying that, you may not resonate at all with some of the empaths. Other people will, but don't feel like, oh no, I don't know what's going on. I don't resonate with this one. I don't have any of these. It's okay. Not everybody fits into all of the empath categories. So just rest assured. Take this as a learning situation for the episodes or the segments that you don't necessarily resonate with.
Well, it can help you identify certain aspects of other empaths. If you understand what an earth empath is, then you're not. But you come across an earth empath, you have understanding and empathy for them.
Right. Okay, so earth empaths, as the name implies, are connected to the earth. They're connected to the weather, the solar system, the universe. They get all of their energy and input from the earth and everything involving the earth. As with all empaths, the earth empath feels the emotions and energy that's around them, that is coming from earth. These empaths specialize in developing intuitions about nature. Let's go on to the signs of what an earth empath is. Earth empaths have one of the strongest intuitions. It simply comes to them naturally, and an earth guides them and communicates with the earth empath. The earth empath is highly sensitive to the changes of the earth in the environment and feels it in their bodies. All the season changes can be felt deeply by the earth empath. Any approaching weather fronts can be felt as well. Your mood fluctuates based on the weather, whether it's going to be a dark and gloomy day or the bright and sunny days that make you feel excited and rejuvenated.
So you're saying that I can blame my mood swings on the earth empath? I like it.
Yeah, right?
I'm not one, but I'm going to use that card.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm moody today. Guess what?
Earth empath? No.
Earth empath.
But of course, you feel the power of thunderstorms. You can appreciate the beauty of the moon and, the heat from the sun. Natural disasters and movements of the earth, which includes like oceans and the tides that come in and out, and even the different phases of the moon, the earth empath can feel and be affected by. Okay, with the earth elements, with the earth empath.
Earth elements is another podcast.
Right.
Elementals. Woo.
That is a different one. Earth empaths, they are so in tuned and connected to the earth that they consider the earth and the elements and the universe like family. They're intimately connected to the earth, so they feel when the earth is in pain and when the earth is happy. Earth empath's mind is wired to pick up on the energies of earth all the time. It can alert the empath subconsciously even in their sleep. So you may have premonitions about natural disasters or feel them intensely as they happen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, right?
I mean, I can't even fathom having, I mean, you know, anytime a natural disaster happens, that you're feeling it to your core before it even happens. I mean, that sounds like what you're saying. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's what it is. So the earth empath feels what the earth is going through and what's happening with the earth and how the earth is doing. So they do feel it. As with animal empath feels what's going on with animals and connects with animals. That is how the earth empath is with the earth. They can communicate and connect with them and feel everything internally. This includes earthquakes, tornadoes, tsunamis, even a volcano eruption. Now, I have a tendency sometimes to feel whenever the earthquakes happen or tremors happen around our area where I live. There will be times whenever I'll just be sitting there and I can just feel it, and I'll ask, for example, my husband, "Did you feel that? I think there was a tremor." And he doesn't feel it, but he'll go on the geological website and he'll look it up and he says, "Yep, there was a tremor that just happened," because they have the live feeds on when there's tremors
Now,
and earthquakes.
what's funny about
Mm-hmm.
that is I lived in California.
Mm-hmm.
Never felt an earthquake, never sensed an earthquake, but I get a phone call from mom saying, "Did you feel the earthquake?" There's an earthquake in California, in your area. I'd be like, so not an earth empath. like, it'd have to be like something 7 on the Richter scale, I guess, for me to feel it.
Right. And I'm sure that's the only thing I have felt. Of course, I can say I feel tornadoes, but you feel that rumbling coming down the road, whenever they're on the ground. So I don't know that I feel them up in the, when they're actually
or you hear
coming.
the freight train.
Or you hear the freight train, right? So, but the earthquakes, I can sense those whenever they're happening. At least the tremors in my area. Now, solar flares can even affect an earth empath. These magnetic storms on the sun affect the magnetic fields around the earth and our bodies. So you could develop headaches, mood swings, anxiety, even some heart palpitations during these events because you're feeling them so deeply. Earth empaths frequently want to connect with the earth. They require direct sunlight to feel energized, or they could suffer from seasonal affective disorder. That is something that I deal with too in the wintertime. I've got to have my sunshine sometime.
Well,
So I stand in the window.
you're in the Midwest. You get a lot of
Yeah,
snow.
true. You get a lot of dark gray skies.
Yeah.
So they need to bring in nature to tap into the earth's healing powers to recharge, rejuvenate, find balance, and connect with their inner self. The earth empath has a strong desire to create positive change in the world by doing things that help the earth.
So if you're an earth empath, you probably belong to PETA.
Uh, PETA or the global warming movement and such, wanting to conserve, preserve, help the earth any way you can. You have a strong desire to help her out and make her better.
Get her done.
Get her done. Yep. The practice of earthing, which can be walking barefoot in the soil, wading in water, laying flat on the ground, even gazing up at the stars, helps the earth empath feel grounded and stay connected to the earth. So you need to deepen your bond with the earth, and one of the ways you can do that is by eating clean, healthy, organic foods. Maybe even grow your own. Now, earth empaths enjoy being close to water. We are made of 60% of water, and the earth is like 71% covered in water. It's essential for survival and replenishment. Flowing water is calming and invigorating to the earth empath. Just looking at the sways and swells of the sea can fill you with peace and fulfillment. I love being near flowing water, whether it's, going down a creek or seeing the waterfalls, like when we come out to visit you guys and see the waterfalls. I just absolutely love water in that capacity. I even like standing out in the rain. How about you?
Water's a great conductor of energy. So I think it helps all empaths. The flow of water. It's a way of connecting, a way of earthing. If you're a water sign, you're definitely going to be drawn to water. But yeah, nothing beats a beautiful waterfall except for someone climbing up the side in flip-flops. But
well, that could be hazardous there.
And you have 911 on standby because But yeah,
Exactly.
I think water is just very soothing. I've got a fountain with water flowing right outside where I'm at right now, so it's perfect.
Exactly. So, earth implants.
Implants? I don't know about that one.
Oh gosh, earth empaths.
Implant. That's for the alien that's coming to the earth to live.
This is what I typically do. I can make a 2-3 word sentence out of a 10-word sentence, and it doesn't make any sense. So an earth implant.
I'm
going to do it again.
And you do this.
I do this. I crunch it together. Because earth empaths surround themselves with plants. So therefore you get earth implants.
I don't know if I want to understand how you got there.
Oh, it's all in my mind. An earth empath surrounds himself with plants. Many earth I'm going to keep doing it.
It's better than hay bale.
Uh-huh. Okay, so many earth empaths cannot spend time in nature on a regular basis because of where they work or live. So they love growing, talking, and sharing their thoughts with their plants. So they have different plants inside the house that makes them feel like it doesn't make them feel like they are actually earthing by tending to these plants that they have inside. So that helps them stay connected, especially in an office and in a big city. It makes a big difference for them to have that nature brought inside. Do you have anything to add to that portion?
Well, I think that that part is very similar to a plant empath that we're going to get into later. But there is some similarities between the plant empath and the earth empath, it seems, which is interesting. And it seems like that happens with all the empaths because I guess you are an empath. There's characteristics that are going to flow through all of these that are kind of similar to what you have.
Right. And the earth and the plant empaths, of course, are so connected because plants are grown in the earth.
Really?
Oh, yeah, imagine that.
Some are grown in water.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
My small contribution. Yeah, some are grown in water.
So I have some tips to make life a little bit easier for earth implants. They need to listen.
Wait. You said implants.
Goodness.
Wasn't that nice of me to point that out instead of just letting you run with it?
Yeah, adjusting my brain. So, tips to making life a little easier for earth empaths is to listen to what your body needs. If you need to be grounded, if you need to do some earthing, find a way to do it. Embrace your connection to the earth and take time out when you need it. There are pros to being an earth empath. They have nature as a support system. So when they need to rejuvenate themselves, they need to take time out from the stress of everything else in the world, they've got the earth that they can do that with. They can foresee natural disasters. Earth empaths can derive happiness and contentment by looking at green surroundings and healthy environments. I just enjoy looking outside my window every day, my sliding glass door, to see what's going on outside. It just makes me feel so much better and connected to what's going on in the world there. How about you? Do you have?
Well,
does that rejuvenate you?
I live in the mountains. I'm a happy girl.
You're always a happy girl then.
I mean, I'm in the Smoky Mountains where there's lots of quartz, natural quartz in the ground and flowing water, and that's a great combination to have around you. So
Right.
yeah, it does make a difference, even if you don't get outside. Like yesterday morning, I got up and grabbed some coffee and out. I went to watch the sunrise, and it was pretty phenomenal. It was a very blessed morning for that
Right.
one. The colors were great, but so it's just kind of like it rejuvenates. I think any empath, but
Yeah.
I got the double whammy of quartz in the ground and water flowing to
Yeah.
to make to make my to make my day.
There you go. Now, in Earth empaths strive to heal nature. They make great environmentalists. I think that one's self-explanatory.
I think so
Uh,
too.
Yep, these types of empaths love to meditate and spend time in nature, which can have numerous positive effects on their bodies and result in physical and mental well being, which is so important for any empath to have good and positive mental well being. Now, some of the cons of the earth empath is that earth empaths might develop the seasonal affective disorder, which can further take into the shape of depression. So they really have to make certain that they follow the earthing and the grounding techniques so that they don't develop into depression. In times like today, pollution, poor air quality, and global warming are at their peak, and earth empaths can frequently find themselves struggling with accepting this fact, and they become sad about it because they don't like seeing the earth being hurt and harmed. They can feel horrified and go through dreadful physical and mental experiences before a natural disaster, which I just I can't fathom that, but yet I respect it because they feel it so deeply. You know, it I just can't imagine how that would
That,
feel, you know?
yes, that could be very overwhelming. It's really good to be grounded. I mean, I think maybe the earth empath has to be more grounded than per se other empaths.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, because they're getting it from all angles, from the sun, from the earth, everything. It's just wow. I just can't imagine that one.
So
Um,
you earth empaths out there, you have our utmost respect because
yes,
yeah, that's a to me. I mean, I don't like to think of any of the empaths as being a negative because it's all a part who we are. It's part
right.
of life. It's part of being psychic. It's part of just being.
Mm-hmm.
But how you deal with it, of course, is the big deal. I mean, if you're identifying with this, then you need to really delve in on how you're going to ground yourself, what boundaries you need to set forth, so you can have a happy, productive life.
Right.
And you
Exactly.
know, the empath doesn't rule you; it's who you are, and you embrace it, and you learn to cope with some of the disadvantages, so you can be the badass person you are.
Exactly. Their need to be in nature might want them to escape frequently and overpower their other goals and ambitions. So that it means that they need to be in nature. They've got to feel it. So they may run away from their other responsibilities in life because of this great overpowering pull to be out in nature. Earth empaths can feel helpless most of the time when they can't bring large scale positive changes to the Earth's condition, which in turn can make them sad. So it's just like we said earlier, that I just feel for the Earth empath.
Well, I think in this situation, though, I mean, if you can't impact the world, you can impact your corner of the world. If you're feeling set, then to put in a garden, work in the yard, do
Right,
things that can impact your your four corners, so to speak. Whether it's you're putting in a garden, tending a garden, pruning plants, whatever, to be in nature. I think that, to keep you from feeling overwhelmed, that you can't fix what's going on in the world, but you can fix what's going on in your area.
right. And you can maybe even organize a cleanup day in your community or in your neighborhood or on your block where volunteers come and you pick up the trash that's being thrown around in the area. Or create a community garden for the community to come and participate in, something like that. Okay, so that'll end what we have as far as the earth empath at this time. So I think we're going to move on to the emotional empath. Now, before we begin this one, I have to say this is one of my. This is me.
You're the poster child.
I am the poster child. Yeah, I should put my little face next to that one.
You're the one hiding in the aisle at Walmart.
Yeah, so this one really resonates with me, but along with a couple other ones, but this one's my baby, so
But make it a happy baby.
I'm gonna try because I really have to tell you with the emotional empaths, they feel everything. So emotional empaths has the ability to feel the emotions of others at an extremely deep level. They do this in part by reading facial expressions and body language of people around them. They often feel as though they have experienced the emotions of others and therefore they easily feel drained. So what that means is they absorb everybody's energy as it's coming in, and not just everybody's energy, but everything that has energy. They're just absorbing it all in, taking it in, and trying to process what they're feeling. They display a degree of heightened sensitivity to other people's emotions. With emotional empaths, this could be their strongest trait or the only trait that they have. So it's either all or nothing with them.
I work in an office with several people, and it's funny. I could be sitting at my desk working away, don't even see when they come into work, and all of a sudden, like, okay, on the Teams Messenger, and what's going on today? What's wrong? Because it's like, I'm just like, okay, there's somebody's really upset about something, and let's find out what's going on, and you really just pick it up like bam.
Yes, that happens to me. Well, this happens to me all the time. I will be sitting in the house here in the Midwest, and all of a sudden I'll get on the texting and say, okay, what's going on there, Carrie? What you feeling? What's this I've got? All of a sudden I've got this feeling. And it'll either be, because I know it's not mine. I ask myself, is this mine or not? So it's either you going through something or you'll say, nope, not mine. So I have to figure out who's
next.
Who's next in my line to figure out who it's coming from. That happened whenever Mom's cat passed. And I messaged you and said, I just have a bit of sadness, quite a bit of sadness that just hit me. And that's when you received the message from Dad that the Mom's cat had passed. So I knew I picked that up from Dad. So, that's what emotional empaths go through. They just pick it up, and it doesn't have to be right there that they're feeling it. They feel it from great distances even. That there's people that they're connected to, that they can feel their emotions and know whether something's, and it doesn't have to be something sad. It could be something very exciting. There's many times I get this excited feeling in my stomach, and it's like, oh, who's got what going on now? So you got to figure that one out.
And I think when we named the empath series, ooh, what's that feeling? We had this particular empath in mind for the naming of the series.
Yes, definitely.
Because that was the ooh.
That's the ooh. Well, yeah, because people have so many different types of emotions that are going on around them. It's not just the happy. It's not just the sad. There's scared. There's excitement. There's an emotion you can imagine. They're picking up on all at one time.
And that's where it's good, like what you said, is this mine? You need to identify what emotion am I feeling? Is it mine? And if it's not, release it. Get rid of it.
Right. That is something that the emotional empath really does need to learn how to do, is how to release all these emotions that don't belong to them. And sometimes you might need to release the ones that do belong to you.
Yes, that's true. Again, you are the poster child of that one.
Right, right. And we tend to be over emotional, overly sensitive. We can sometimes burst out into tears for no reason. And it is because we are connected to the sentiments of other people. And we try to feel their emotions so we can better understand what they are going through, as a way to help them through any situation that they may be experiencing. Other people consider emotional empaths to be weak and vulnerable people, but considering everything that they deal with on a regular basis, you may actually consider them one of the strongest people you know.
And I think that's a mistake that most narcissists make.
Yes.
Don't you think so?
I do think so, because they think that these emotional empaths are somebody that they can walk all over and take advantage of. So let's move on to some of the signs of an emotional empath. An emotional empath can mirror other people's behavior and emotions. They try to reach into the depths of what other people are feeling and consume their emotions, and then radiate the same emotions themselves. That's just what happens with them.
Well, I think they also look out for the underdog.
Well, they do. They do. They want to make certain that everybody is happy and healthy emotionally and everything. And people pick on those underdogs. So that is the emotional empath. They try to bring everybody up to a higher level, higher vibration. They also experience what's called mirror touch synesthesia. This is a condition which causes a person to feel the sensations of being touched on the opposite side or the same part of their body when they see another person being touched, physically touched.
I wouldn't like that.
I have this happen. I really do. This is like if they are getting tickled. If you see somebody getting tickled, you kind of feel the tickling in wherever they're getting tickled. It is such a weird sensation.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like that.
Yeah, it is. I have had this happen. You see someone getting touched on the hand. You feel it as a mirror image on your hand that you're being touched as well. It is a strange sensation that happens, but it does happen. That is one of the signs. So you have good communication skills. That's debatable on my part. I sometimes question my ability to communicate, but let's move on. Emotional empaths like talking to a lot of people and making friends. Their advanced emotional understanding allows them to do this without any difficulty at all. They possess the power to convince people because they know what the other person is thinking and what the person wants in the end. Now, my tongue twisting makes me question whether or not I'm a good communicator. But overall, I think that is something that I can do.
Here you are on a podcast.
Exactly.
With someone who gets her words mixed up. So.
Right. There we are.
Says the new creator of Earth Implants.
Yes, that's right. Now, this is something that both of us have experienced because we tend to answer people's questions before they've even asked them.
Yes.
I do think this is something you and I have experienced with people.
I have a funny story. Well, I think it's funny. Doesn't mean it's funny, but I was at work and, this woman came in and she was very scantily dressed, but she had the body for it and she looked good. And I had a coworker kind of standing behind me and I heard, "Whoa." And I turned to that person. I said, "Really?" And he goes, "I didn't say anything." I went, "Not out loud." Turned back around. And he avoided me for a while. I was like, "I heard what you said." Like, really?
Did you hear or did you see the eyeballs come popping out of his head?
I heard, "Whoa," because he was like behind me.
Yeah.
And I just like, really? Like really? You just looked at me real guiltily. What? I didn't say anything. I'm like,
Well, that brings us to emotional empaths are exceptionally understanding. They pay attention to every detail, right down to the most minute detail, to help them obtain understanding of a situation. So they like to see the good in people, and they
yes,
try
to
not
their own
right,
detriment.
and they do their best to not be judgmental of people. So this is why people are drawn to the emotional empath, and they tend to reveal their secrets to us. They can also
More than you want to know.
yeah, so much more than you want to know.
Yes.
They can also look at the broader picture in order to give the most appropriate piece of advice. So they have the ability to take in all this information that's being put out there, all the emotions, all the sentiment that's being told to them by this person, by a person, and then be able to step back and look at the big picture and be able to tell them, hopefully help them with good advice.
Now, don't you think that if you're an emotional empath and you're really working on your clairs,
Mm-hmm.
it's really going to intune you to read people more. You're going to hear things more. If you're working your clair audience and you're an emotional empath and you're already picking up things without people saying them,
Mm-hmm.
then that's going to really amplify that when you work on that particular clair.
Right. Right.
So you need to keep that in mind when you start working on your clairs. What kind of empath am I? So you're prepared.
True.
For developing this.
Right. Right. And of course, as we mentioned in the clairs, clairsentience is the one that is connected to this emotional empath. It's
yes, but clairaudience is where you hear.
Clairaudience is where you hear. Right. So see how they go together.
It's a double whammy.
How all these
it's a
double
whammy.
wham, bam.
But the thing about the empaths is you either are or you aren't. You either are this empath or you aren't.
Right.
So it's not like you can develop your empath. You either are or aren't, correct?
That is my understanding. Yep.
Yeah. So you can develop your clairs, and you may want to choose which clair to develop based on which empath, which to develop first based on which empath you are.
True.
And I think you could be an animal empath and an emotional empath. I think that you're just going to have one that's more dominant than the other.
Right, exactly. But a part of being an animal empath, though, is the emotions, So everybody has, every empath has emotional energy. Exactly. It's just that with this emotional empath, that is so much more ramped up, the emotional side of it, that's it. That's what they feel it all the time. Now, the emotional empath likes to listen to other people's stories. With their great imaginations and the ability to picture the instances described to them in stories they're being told, the emotional empath can understand the person's emotions with more clarity and connect with them at a higher level. I'm so excited about this one. This is something that I experience all the time. That's why I like the audio, the podcasts and stuff. It's just like, yeah. I can actually visualize, really see it in my mind's eye, what they're talking about or what I'm hearing. I mean, I get so excited because I love that. I love being able to visualize what is going on. But then I also think that's also one of the clairs to help you receive images, from spirit and such. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to be able to visualize, then you can get hit with the image, not hit, but when messages are coming from spirit.
When you get that download?
You get that download. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You've got that already ability to be able to receive those images in your mind's eye. So I just got excited about that one. Sorry.
No, that's great.
So
you're excited about it. Empath thing is really good.
It happens. Well, and it's also that I'm now being able to identify that that's what that is. Does that make sense? Meaning that yes. I did not realize that by me being able to
There was a
actually
little bit of
imagine
a
these.
little clairvoyance going on.
Yeah, that I can actually visualize these deeply with what I'm hearing in these stories and such. That was actually an ability that goes with this, and that's part of why we're doing this podcast, is to learn what's happening, what's going on, and to teach others. So I got excited.
Well, that's great.
Thanks. They also make notes from the person's story to get to know them better. These insights allow them to form accurate perceptions about the person and cultivate a stronger bond.
You know what I think happens? This is my personal opinion. I think that when someone's telling you a story and you get so drawn into it, that you're actually reading them beyond what you're hearing, because their guard's down. They're telling a story, and I'm not saying you're probably doing it not on purpose, but so you're reading more emotion tied to what you're reading off of them, and hearing about the story.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that just popped in. So I was like, okay, Spirit.
Okay, thank
This
you.
is what I think. This just in.
They maintain long-lasting bonds. The emotional empath can get easily attached to people and things. Guilty.
Yes, me too.
Once they start mirroring someone's emotions, they begin feeling protective of the person and have trouble letting go. People close to an emotional empath feel that they are blessed to have them around because they have someone that listens to them without judgment and wishes only the best for them. So an emotional empath, they do tend to stay connected to the people that they meet and that they help.
I think that what exudes from an emotional empath is that you genuinely want to listen to what they're telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes across. That's why they feel so secure. So, like, you're not just, letting them talk to you. You're actually hearing them. You're getting their emotions as they're talking to you, and I think it gives you a better understanding, and they feel heard.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Even if they may not even want you to offer any advice.
Right.
But they know that you're going to hear them, and they can talk through it.
Emotional empaths are always absorbing the energies and listening to the people's stories. A lot of the stories are unhappy or sad because that's what people want to unburden themselves with. That can cause an emotional empath to feel kind of frustrated because they feel isolated. They're taking in all this negative emotion, and it gives them an emotional overload. So they need to learn to, as we've said before, release that after they're finished with that person and that person's stories. You have to let it go.
And the problem is that you don't always identify that you're picking up their energy and taking it with you.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You could be in an elevator with 10 people, and Kim would be bailing out as quickly as she could. But you could be in an elevator with 10 people, and you now have 10 people's emotions.
Plus,
and you may not have spoken to any of them.
Right. Exactly.
But now you've got all of this that you've picked up that you need to release.
Right. Exactly.
And if you're not releasing on a regular basis, this is all going to build up.
Yes.
And then it's not pretty.
Right. Right. Exactly. Then it's not pretty at all. That's whenever I go hide in the depends aisle
to get away.
Away from people.
And I do a real quick. I release anything that isn't mine or doesn't serve me. So in case it is mine, it needs to go too. You want to include everything. And it's just a simple say to yourself, it's not like you have to stand up at work on your desk saying, I'm releasing all your energy.
Right.
Be gone. Although if you do that, please have someone record it and put it on our Facebook page. I'd love to see it.
Yes, exactly. I would too.
But we're not recommending you do this. But you do need to release. You do need to just make a effort of I am just releasing what does not serve me and what is not mine. And you just do that periodically when you start to feel overwhelmed. Journaling too. I'm sure you're going to go over that in the end. So sorry if I'm bumping in on that, but writing down those emotions might help you start to identify whether it's yours or not.
Right. Right.
I'm feeling overwhelming sadness. Write it down. Why?
Why? Yes, exactly.
And then answer the why.
Right. And
if it's I don't know, it's not yours.
Yeah. Exactly. this can always be done very simply at your desk. Just close your eyes for a few minutes. Do a little breathing exercise to release it all. It doesn't have to be a big dramatic thing, like you said, just a simple close your eyes, because who doesn't need a few seconds throughout the day just to unwind, just to release what's not theirs? Just simple close your eyes and release it.
I'm gonna squirrel on you for a moment.
Okay.
I
like squirreling.
If you wear a clear quartz, that amplifies everything. So if you're wearing a clear quartz and you're having a really bad day, take that bad boy off.
Oh, yeah, take it off.
because you're not releasing everything. You're absorbing, and the quartz, and especially if it's in copper, because copper amplifies what a stone does. So if you've got copper and quartz, you're really hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're having a great day, that quartz is singing along with you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But if it's just compounding, you're noticing you're having a really bad day, take off the quartz if you're wearing one, and then release everything.
Right.
And maybe put the quartz on a piece of selenite to kind of cleanse it a little bit. Usually clear quartz doesn't need cleansing, but you want to get the bad energy off.
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Now, the emotional empath, they go through a lot of emotions every single day. To other people, the emotional empath is a good listener and gives valuable insight and advice. But when it comes to the emotional empath opening up about their own emotions and feelings, the empath shuts down, knowing that other people cannot possibly relate to what they are feeling and going through, because a lot of times it's hard to explain what it is that emotional empath is experiencing. And somebody who doesn't experience that, the emotional empath thinks they cannot possibly understand.
And that's probably based on experience.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Life lessons.
Right. Okay, so some of the pros to being an emotional empath: they connect with people all at a deeper level. They are quick to sense negativity. Their intuitions are generally accurate. They are creative people and always look for solutions to people's problems. You are a blessing for the people around you as you heal them from their traumas. Some of the cons of being an emotional empath is emotional empaths might feel lonely at times, as they don't want to trouble others with their issues and are often misunderstood. Their decision-making abilities could be a little impaired, as they are always looking at all aspects of a situation. They are always distracted and looking for escapes. Yes, that is me. They can get frustrated with their own thoughts, and they ignore their own emotions, as they can't determine exactly which ones belong to them. So
I think these were all, I think, are ungrounded empaths would feel those cons. Don't you think?
I do.
Yes, the more grounded you are and the more meditating and grounding and journaling you work on, those cons become smaller and smaller.
Right, exactly, they do. So that's why, in conclusion, you learn to ground yourself.
Oh, sorry.
Develop a protective bubble, and learn to cut emotional and energetic ties that you pick up throughout the day. So that comes to the end of the emotional empath.
What is your, how do I word this? Your worst experience as an emotional empath? I know it's hard to pick one.
It is hard to pick one. I have the most difficult times that I have as an emotional empath is going to visitations for a funeral.
Oh yeah.
That is the most difficult one, because of all the sadness, all of the emotions that are there. Those are hard for me. Nursing homes are extremely hard as well. That's probably my number 2, because with that one, you are not only getting you're picking up on the sadness, the confusion, all kinds of different emotions there in a nursing home. a lot of
And
the confusion, because
yeah,
they may be suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, and they don't understand. They're confused. It's a very chaotic environment there at a nursing home.
I get. I guess because Grandma took me to the nursing home to see Grandpa and Great Grandpa most of my young life, that I must adjusted my psychic abilities for it not to bother me. Because I can walk into a nursing home and not have the overwhelming that you have. I do have problems in
Oh,
hospitals,
yes.
only because there is so much variance of emotion, but there's also ghosts in hospitals,
Yes, there's a
and
lot.
so it's kind of a yeah, it's a, yeah,
Energy in hospitals is really
yes.
off.
But I think on a daily basis, because an emotional empath wants to help, that sometimes it's difficult to just know that sometimes you just need to stay in your lane and not try to help all the time.
Yeah, that is something that is, well, that could be kind of a con, because they don't know when to stay in their own lane. I'm guilty of that all the
Well, then,
time, because I don't need to be in all these emotions. I don't need to be there, because no one's asking me to be there. I need to
right.
step back and say, oh, that's not mine, I don't need it right now, and stay in my
Yep.
lane. And that is difficult.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things is learning when to stay in your lane and when you really need to assist someone.
Right, right. Because the emotional empath does have those deep connections with the people they know that could be scattered throughout the world, and
And
they
so
pick up on those.
and I find that if I just kind of have a quiet conversation with spirit, now obviously I'm speaking, in my mind's eye to spirit. I'm not verbally, is this something I should help with?
Mm.
Or do I need to stay in my own lane?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the more that you learn to ask that, and the more journaling and grounding and meditating you do, it's not hard being an emotional empath if you keep up on your self-care.
Well, it's like with any empath, you have to keep up with the self-care.
Yes. And when you start to get these overwhelming feelings, and that's your cue that life has taken over and you have forgotten to take care of you,
Mm-hmm.
and that you need to step back and take care of you because no one else is going to do it.
Right. No, that's true.
And you got to take care of you, or you're no good to anybody else.
Right.
I've seen people that are ungrounded emotional empaths, and they're doing, and they get closer and closer to that brick wall.
Yeah.
And it's like you need to just step back and take an hour to yourself and just be by yourself.
Right.
Or take a psychic shower and let the water just take everything away that's not yours or doesn't serve you. Or, it's, empaths can come up with some really weird illnesses because they've either tried to block off their abilities, and you can't block off your empathy. It's there.
It's there.
You're wired.
Yep.
You're wired that way. And it causes health issues. I tease Kim that she's the poster child for the emotional empath, but I'm the poster child, I think, for coming up with weird ailments.
Yes. You're the reigning queen on that one.
For trying to, cut down my abilities from past relationships, just kind of shut it down and everything. And I have really weird food intolerances.
Yeah. That you do.
So it's really important. So I'm coming at it from a don't do what I did aspect.
Right.
Own it, embrace that's who you are, and love yourself for being that way, because you're going to make some phenomenal, wonderful changes in people's lives.
Yep. You have the ability to help heal other people and their emotional ties and such.
You have the built-in lie detector.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, emotional empaths can spot a narcissist. Bam. Oh, nope. I know what you are.
Yep.
They know when someone's lying because of the emotion that they're picking up on somebody else.
Right.
So there's a lot of good things that you can take away from being an emotional empath, and it will help you in your daily life.
Right.
but just keep on top of your self-care and what you need. It's not, don't feel guilty if you need to take a day away from the family just to, rejuvenate.
Right. Exactly.
Get lost. And I think that's why a lot of emotional empaths are very creative, because it's a way of, like we've spoke about before, releasing energy and emotions that you've picked up.
Right. And it's okay. Sometimes a good cry helps too.
Oh, an ugly cry.
The ugly
Once it's
cry.
over does make you feel better. Yeah. You do feel better after a good ugly cry.
You do.
But it is ugly to watch.
But it's okay to have.
But sometimes that's the only way
to release
you
it.
can release
Yes.
something that's deep and emotional.
Right.
Because you do feel pain worse than other empaths do.
Right. You feel it to your core.
When you hurt, it goes right to your soul.
Right.
And it's not funny, but interesting side note. After Mom passed away, I waited a few months, because you should always wait a few months before you get a psychic reading after a life event like that,
right.
because you're kind of locked in grief.
Okay.
And you need to kind of process some of the grief. But, I think I mentioned this on another podcast where I reached out to my friend through Messenger on Facebook. So she didn't, I went to her business page, so she really didn't know it was me.
Right.
But she gave me a reading. And one of the things she said was, because my mom was there, and she said, she said she has no idea how badly you felt things when you hurt.
Oh.
And that she had no idea that you felt things to your soul. Even just falling and scraping my knee as a child.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool, the fact that Mom knew now, as she transitioned, everything, and some things aren't as important as they were when you're living. But she wanted me to know that she knew I'm an empath.
Wow.
She wanted me to know that she had no idea, and that she has understanding on that now. And I thought that was, to me, it helped me, I think, a little bit with my grief process.
Right.
Because she understands things now that perhaps she didn't when she was living, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I squirreled on you, but it just kind of tied in, I thought, with this, that she never really knew that about me.
Right. Which means
she knows now.
Which means she probably never knew that about me as well. No, I don't know. I think I always wore my feelings out on my sleeves.
You had middle child syndrome. You were our Jan Brady.
Yes, I was definitely that.
Trying to please everybody.
Yeah. Since I was little. Okay, so I think that wraps up this episode of Psychic Bent. What do you think?
I think so.
Okay.
And our next episode is going to start with the Heyoke Empath.
Which is
really excited about that.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about this one, because this is a new one to me. I didn't know anything about this one.
Well, the Heyoke is a rare empath. Now, don't know the percentage of rarity on it, but it is one that is not as common as the emotional or the animal or the intuitive.
I'm excited to hear what you have on this one. So, all right.
Me too.
Okay. So I guess that's it. We'll see you next time on Psychic Bent. Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Bye.
May your light shine bright.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, Psychic Bent. If you enjoyed Psychic Bent, please like, follow, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. We can be reached on Facebook at Psychic Bent Podcast. Our email address is psychicbent1@gmail.com. May your light shine bright.